वेलकम टू SOMP। आज के बिग पिक्चर डिबेट का टॉपिक है फ्रांस, इट्स लिबर्टी एंड फाइट अगेंस्ट टेरर। दीज वर द पैनलिस्ट इन आवर डिस्कशन। लेट अस सी की कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्या है। Recently, there has been terrorist attacks in France, which includes heinous attacks inside a church in Nice, where a woman was beheaded and two others were killed inside the church. Also, a French school teacher was murdered in Paris for showing caricatures of Prophet, that is, cartoons of Prophet, to his students. ये जो cartoon थे, it was satirical in nature, which hurted the sentiments of the Muslim community, and that is what led to this heinous attack. फ्रेंच प्रेसिडेंट इमानुअल मैक्रोन ने स्ट्रांगली कंडेम किया इस अटैक को एंड डिफेंड किया बाय सेइंग दैट फ्रांस की फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन एंड इट्स सेक्युलर वैल्यूज इज गेटिंग curbed. Also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi strongly condemned this attack and asserted that India stands with France in the fight against terrorism. In response to such statements, certain countries like Turkey, Malaysia, and Pakistan accused French president of running an anti-Islamic agenda and provoking Muslims. These countries have taken a diametrically opposite position to India's position. Now let us see कि फ्रांस के क्या आइडल्स रहे हैं and उनका क्या present issue है. French Republic is based on certain principles and values where the freedom of expression, speech and expression is very important. Also, French Republic came with the fight against church and the first step जो उन्होंने लिया है is taking away schools from the church and making them secular. That is, imbibing secular values in the school teachings instead of church teachings. The secular value ये एक bedrock है of French Republic. So these two are the foundational ideals of the France. Now let us see कि क्या issue चल रहा है. Holistically, as a whole, अगर यूरोप में देखा जाए, the tragic reality is that there is continued strikes by the jihadist people. Specifically in France देखा जाए, तो that is also hit by a lot of Islamic terrorism in the recent years. France is a home to Europe's largest Muslim community. In the past 8 years, terror attacks इतने हुए हैं, which has killed more than 200 people in this region. This shows that neither the government's preventive measure nor its combative posture works in ending this terror run. Credible intelligence gathering and de-radicalization efforts जो भी गवर्नमेंट ले रही है ये इतनी इफेक्टिव नहीं है. Also, this particular incident is an example of conflict between democracy and theocracy. Democracy means government formed by elected representatives and theocracy government formed by divine officials. So जब तक ये conflict रहेगा between democracy and theocracy, ये violence हमेशा continued रहेगा. ये जो इंसिडेंट हुआ है फ्रांस में, दिस इज नॉट द फर्स्ट इंसिडेंट इन यूरोप जो कि इतना हीनियस रहा है. Similar incidents पहले भी हो रखे हैं. Earlier in France itself, where there was repeated terror strikes. In 2015, the same thing happened um, for publishing the caricature of the prophet. Also in Amsterdam, where the filmmaker was killed in the public square. And other regions like England में हुआ है and many Scandinavian countries as well. Few people have also said that Europe countries are paying for its inability to estimate the threats posed by immigrants. They didn't even figure out कि क्या future challenges हो सकते हैं immigration के, and now they are bearing the brunt of it. इंडिया का क्या सपोर्ट रहा है फ्रांस के लिए and what is India's France relationship? India has strongly condemned the criticism जो भी टर्की एंड पाकिस्तान ने दिया है on French president and उन्होंने ये कहा है कि whatever the act happened, terror attacks happened, it is a violation of the most basic standard of international discourse. Also, these two countries have repeatedly attacked India over JNK and alleged human rights violation. France has condemned the murder of the school teacher as a brutal terrorist attack. India always share a close tie with the France, especially जो कि mutual interest से related issues होंगे. That is from counter-terrorism to defense and from nuclear to space. Over the years, both countries have been collaborating together to curb terrorism. In this response, इन्होंने एक international conference on fighting terrorists and financing organize किया है by a name called No Money for Terror. In this, they agree to enhance their operational cooperation and launch fresh efforts to fight radicalization, especially online radicalization की बात कर रहे हैं लोग. So now let us see कि क्या way forward हो सकता है. Liberal democracies need to be hospitable for every citizen, but there should be zero tolerance for such kind of behavior as well. And जो ये ऐसा कर रहे हैं, who is abusing this hospitality, we can even consider deporting those people. Also, there is an urgent need for an international coalition of democracies who believes that freedom of speech and expression and who also believes in an open and a plural lifestyle. These international coalition of democracies should make these people, make this radicalized people understand that the answer to a derogatory remark is not violence all the time. One of the way to curb radicalism is can also be setting proper rules and guidelines. Also, an OIC which is led by Saudi Arabia, उन्होंने disapprove किया है all these cartoons से cartoons of the by showing the cartoons of the prophet, but साथ ही साथ इनने ये भी condemn किया है कि killing of the teacher नहीं होना चाहिए and ये violence नहीं होना चाहिए था. So India and France particularly देखा जाए तो इनका बहुत अच्छा relation है with the large part of the Middle East countries. So these two countries need to develop much closer relationship so that they can understand how these radical works and therefore it can help them to counter such radicalization. Also, like-minded countries should come together and fight the menace of radicalism and terrorism. So these can be some measures which can be taken by both the countries to curb radicalism. So what can be the conclusion? The incident in the France is deplorable and what followed is equally bad. It should act as an eye opener in the liberal democracy and एक proper preventive measures लेना चाहिए so that ये incidents कभी आगे जाके ना हो. This fight was not against a particular country. It is a fight for the civilization values, for democracy, for secularism, freedom and equality against the radical Islamism. So, it is important for the world that France wins this fight. That's all for today. If you found this video helpful, please like the video, do comment on it, do subscribe to the channel. Also, आप हमारा Telegram channel join कर सकते हैं, which is at the rate SOMP guidance for further updates. Thank you.